and Nico, 1, 2, 3 in the championship, and we've got them all starting in the top 3 tomorrow. What more could we ask for?
Yeah, this is the thriller remains open. I would like to, though, say all my respect for Lando Norris, because the whole qualifying things were not going his way. Somehow, suddenly, the whole thing was a struggle. But when it mattered, in the very end, he pulled out a beautiful lap to put himself in the row, where he needs to be, you know. So, and the pressure is just insane in that last moment, especially when you're really feeling that things are not going perfectly. And wow, even a Russell could suddenly like threaten you. And he did an amazing job, Lando, in the end there. So really perfect job from him today.
That's why he's a 4-time world champion.
Lando, huh? I'm talking.
Yeah, I know that is. Yeah,
Verstappen.
but I'm talking about Max Verstappen. Yeah, to get pole.
Yeah, you know, and we were discussing through Q2 that he was getting the toe of Tsunoda, and then in Q3 didn't need that. Got 2 laps that were good enough for pole position and showed that he made it count when it happened. And that all became Q1 and Q2. Got to Q3 with 2 new sets, 2 good goes at it, and he just got the lap together when he really, really needed it. And we've seen that from Max so often, time and time again, just able to produce the goods. And like Nico's been saying all weekend, he doesn't have as much pressure on, so he's in a position to do that.
But that's the big world of a difference. Max is totally relaxed, nothing to lose. And Lando just has the whole world of pressure on his shoulders. It's a completely different world.
Can we just talk about the team effort, though, to get them there? Because as I was mentioning just before the break there, we've got a couple of minutes left in free practice 3, and he's talking about the car jumping. He was not happy with what was underneath him. Whatever they've done, they've engineered themselves back into contention here, haven't they? And then you get his teammate helping him out with a toe for the first one, and then he does it himself. So, well done, Red Bull.
Yeah, exactly. And they're very good at reacting to the feedback that he gives. And often we're very critical of the feedback that Max gives, you know, saying about how harsh he is to GP, how quick he is with the feedback, how sometimes aggressive it is from the outside, or at least it feels that way. But actually, you know, I think it was last week when we were talking with Jamie, she was saying he is giving that feedback. He's pushing the team. He's straight away saying, this needs to be better, this needs to be better. And they're reacting to it and fixing the car. He's not waiting until he gets back in the garage to go through the debut. He's just getting the information to them as quickly to get them working on it. And we've seen that from them time and time again. And we've spoken a few times this weekend about garages under. All these guys and girls are on race 3 of a triple header on a 24 race season. And the car needs to be perfect when it leaves the garage. Everything needs to be in the right place. Tyres at the right part. Everything needs to be. And that's their bread and butter, you know. But it's worth the entire team comes together to make sure that Max has the ability to then do that lap. Obviously, Max gets it done at the end.
Yeah.
Unbelievable speed, Max. Just pure speed.
Yeah, fantastic work, guys. So that's a great qualifying. So let's have some fun out there.
Well, Andrea, it's very, very close. It's more or less to the 10th of a second, the same lap time for Lando and Oscar, both are 1:22.4. Are you disappointed, or will that do, being second and third?
Well, first of all, let me say that having Oscar and Lando so close, well, that's the story of the season. You know, like this qualifying is symbolic of what's been a very, very close performance between Oscar and Lando, and it's fair and it's good that they are both here fighting for the championship and in a good position to do so. In terms of the qualifying itself, Verstappen and Red Bull had 1 or 2 tenths more than us today, so fair enough that they are in pole position. Happy with the performance. I think Oscar and Lando managed to extract what was available in the car today. It was not a simple qualifying session, because this has been, I think, the tightest qualifying in terms of how compact the whole field was between the fastest and the slowest, so it required quite a lot of attention in terms of tire usage, delivering on laps. So overall, I think a positive day in the economy of the championship. It's in our hands, but we need to deliver tomorrow.
Okay, well, could you just give us finally a little thought about tomorrow? Is there a little bit of a difference in terms of wing level from Oscar to Lando? Some of the GPS data suggested that Oscar was a little bit quicker on the straights. And how crucial is it that, as you say, it's in your hands, Russell is 4th, maybe that could have complicated matters for you?
So there is no difference in terms of rear wing setting. They are on the same configuration. So any speed difference that we see will be due to slipstream to the car ahead. So we have definitely seen enough that the cars deliver perfectly from a downforce drag point of view. So that's all good. Russell, Leclerc, definitely we are not alone. It's going to be a complex race, but one in which we have to do the best job possible and deliver and let Lando and Oscar have their options, possibilities for the championship.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for talking to us. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Well, that looks like some recovery from where the car's been this weekend. Do you and the team know where it came from? Did you work on something specific?
I changed completely the car from FP2 to FP3 and it felt a little bit better, but I couldn't really see that in terms of performance just yet. So yeah, and then in qualifying I was really happy with the 2 laps in Q3. I really went all in, and it was either I finish a lap or crash into the wall, but luckily I finished the laps and I'm pretty happy with them, so there wasn't anything more we could have done today.
What about the race pace? How concerned are you that you won't be able to keep that P5, or do you think you've got enough looking at who's behind you? I mean, Fernando Alonso and keep them at bay?
I don't know because yeah, everybody seemed to be very strong in race pace. We weren't strong in FP2, but we changed so much the car from FP2 that I still have hopes that we made it better for the race as well. But only time will tell. It will be a bit more of a difficult car to drive, but I think a faster one, and I hope, being faster is eventually what matters, but I just hope the car will be okay to drive for a whole race distance.
Well done today. Thanks. Hi, Lewis. When we spoke yesterday, you said there were some changes you wanted to make overnight in the car to get a better balance. Were the changes made for today?
Yeah, we made lots of changes. The car felt great today.
And the car felt great. So when you said on the radio, the same thing again, are you referring to your performance in qualifying? Mm-hmm. And you don't know why, it's just you can't find it at the moment, that skill you've been known for? All right, I'll leave it to it. Thanks, Lewis.
Lewis, what happened in this last tour set so that you left there 3/10?
I don't know.
Really, I can understand you. Can I ask you if you have the words to describe how much it's hard?
I don't have the words to describe the feeling I have inside. It was an unbearable amount of anger and rage, and there's not really much I can say about it.
It's disheartening to see him like this. It's every time now, and Rachel's having to come back and ask these questions, and obviously he's monosyllabic because he just doesn't know himself. It feels to me, actually, when you get the evidence of what Charles was saying, we changed our car completely as well, it feels like there's an element of guesswork that they're doing, but he's so hard on himself. Should he be?
Well, I mean, Charles is 5th. Let's not forget, yeah? Mm-hmm. So Lewis is definitely responsible, at least partially, but if not entirely, for being 16th on the grid. So it's just unbelievably hard. And it's so tough. It's so tough. I feel for him because it's horrible. It's horrible. You start to doubt yourself. Maybe I've lost it. He thinks to himself, maybe I've lost it. And maybe it's just going to continue like that the whole next year, and more pain. And it's really a horrible situation to be in. And not nice to see.
Started with the crash, though, in FP3, didn't it?
Yeah, it did start with that crash, but like we're discussing, I do agree with you, Simon. I think Ferrari at times, not just this event, throughout the year, felt a bit lost in setup. We talk about Red Bull making changes. Yeah, they make changes, but they seem to react, and very rarely we see them react to something and then get it right. A little bit easier because there's more gaps on track. You've learned from those 2 tyres. They both went out on the medium run 1 of Q1, which then they've got to adapt to a tyre change as well as all the other changes they've made in the car. And Charles Leclerc actually ended up in Q3 with 2 sets of new softs, one of only 3 drivers to get that far. So it's sad to see Lewis in that sort of situation where he feels so disheartened with this car's performance. But that has been the story of the journey to Ferrari, and we started the year with so much hope that Ferrari and Lewis could be this dream team, and that's not happened. And he certainly, from the discussions you hear from Rachel, doesn't feel like the improvement is coming, or doesn't feel like he has an answer, at least an answer he's prepared to give us.
1,000 too many.
That was pretty good.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Unexpected.
Unexpected. Where'd it come from, do you think? Did the car just come alive? Did you find it?
Yeah, we made some setup changes yesterday night. We were not happy in FP2, and then, we tried something experimental, to be honest, that we didn't try any other race, and FP3 was tricky to drive, but potentially faster, and as I said, not comfortable car to drive, but not too bad.
You can't give us any insight into what you tried experimentally?
No.
No, okay. What about the race tomorrow, though? What about the race pace? You know what's going on ahead of you at the front. Would you be happy to keep that P6 or maybe challenge Charles a bit?
I will be extremely happy. I think we have some fast cars behind. You know, the Hasses, they've been very, very strong the whole weekend, so I don't know what happened in quali, but normally on Sunday they are strong. Hadjar as well, even Bortoleto and Antonelli. I mean, there are some fast cars behind, so we have to keep the feet in the ground, but we take day by day, and today is a happy day.
As someone who's been there, can I just ask you one final question? What would you suggest those three drivers battling it out for the championship do tonight? Is there anything they should do, anything they shouldn't do? What would be your...
Sleep. Sleep well. And tomorrow, if they can race behind us, if they can give the way to us, and we overtake three cars in the first couple of laps, and then they fight behind us.
Great, thanks.
He's like a fine wine, but he's also mischievous, and he's not someone you ought to be backed into tomorrow, is he, Fernando Alonso?
Very mischievous, as we know. But how awesome. I mean, 44 years old, and still delivering in that way with an awesome lap there and elevating his whole team into the top 6. And we know that car has not been a great car this year. Fantastic.
Hello, George.
Hello.
Hello, George.
Another 4th place start.
Thrilling.
Yeah, but you're right amongst it.
Yes.
Second row of the grid. What sort of a mood are you in for getting involved with those top 3 tomorrow?
My mood is the same as any other race, to be honest. Obviously, I know what's on the line for those 3, but you just got to treat it like a normal race. I think in normal circumstances, we don't have to pace, but obviously, if lap 1 finishes in the order we start the race, I can't imagine Max just driving off into the sunset. So there could be opportunity.
Yeah, we were just talking about that, funnily enough. We really were expecting the unexpected tomorrow from that kind of starting position, because he's not going to disappear off into the distance. What are your tactics? You were hoping from the toe from Max today as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was a subtle hint to the Red Bull pit wall to sort of like consider it, because you need somebody in the mix, but the truth is they were too quick for us today. We were obviously the top of Q2, but we were on new tyres, everyone else was on old tyres, so I think we knew deep down they had 3 or 4 attempts to come.
Just speaking of that, George, obviously P4 front row seat for what's going to happen tomorrow with the top title contenders, but does that feel a little bit disappointing after P3? You put in that superb lap in P3, it looked really, really strong from our side, or from your side and the data that you threw, is that sort of what you expect to qualifying to end up?
Honestly speaking, I think that's what we expected. My lap in P3 was really strong, and I knew that people would usually get a bit closer come qualifying, and when you looked at the power modes people are running, I think we knew a good session would be around P3 and a bad one would be around P5. So P4 split the middle, that's just where we've been this season.
George, I just got to take you back to that start tomorrow. Imagine, I mean, either Lando or Oscar have a bad start. Do you go for the lunge, or because they're like in the championship fight, you would attack a little bit less than usual? How do you think you will approach that?
Honestly, I think I'm just going to treat it like any other race. If there's an opportunity and if there's a gap, if this was race 1 of the season, I wouldn't be aiming to do anything reckless, but I'm not going to leave opportunities on the table. So I also want to finish on the podium. I also want to finish the season on the high. And I've got to be honest, I won't sleep better or worse no matter who wins the championship tomorrow. So I'll be doing my own thing and go from there.
Unless you touch wheels and massively influence the outcome.
Yeah, for sure. But that's not the intention. That's not the intention of any driver. And as I said, I won't be risking more. I won't be risking less. And just go about my business like normal.
George, can I just quickly ask you about the dinner the other evening? All 17 of you out at dinner. You were sat, I think you were sat between Oscar and Lando, or at least with the picture you were there. There you are, right between them. Was there a lot of chat? Was there a lot of ribbing? If the 3 still involved? How did that all go?
No, conversation wasn't really about racing, but I'll leave that to your imagination. So no, it was nice. It was nice because you know, we are all rivals. You're all competing against one another, but we all have this one thing in common, that we're traveling the world together, and nights like that just give you that chance to sort of bond a little bit and enjoy it.
And Pierre picked up the tab. What a nice guy.
Yeah, very kind of him.
It's your turn next year, right? We understand. There we go. Best luck
Thanks
tomorrow.
so much.
We'll let
See you
you
later.
skedaddle because he's obviously got to get to the debrief.
You mentioned you don't need to take any risks. So have you thought about the approach to turn one? We saw Max tap Oscar, P1, P2, had contact last year. Have you thought about that at all, or will you look at that tonight or previous starts?
No, I mean, look, I know what I have to do, but it's never as simple as just saying stay there or do this, you know. Everyone has their own agenda, so like I said, the only thing I can do is go focus on my own stuff, prepare the best way I can, and wait to see what happens.
And hopefully sleep badly, I seem to remember you said.
I've been sleeping too much the last 2 nights, so yeah. Tonight I need to sleep
Jump on a
less
boat
again.
out there for a few hours and...
Yeah,
We wish you all the best for tomorrow. Thanks, Nando. Hi, Oscar. It must have been nice to finally get into a rhythm today, but how frustrating is it, I guess, that this ends up being the FP1 session that you missed? I know it's arranged well in advance. Would it have helped you, do you think, or...?
I mean, missing a practice session is never going to help, but you know, it's a track that we all know pretty well. You know, ultimately, it's a session we decided together to miss, so I can't complain.
You've got the biggest task tomorrow. Do you make a move at the start and hope the rest sorts itself out behind you? How do you approach that start?
Not really sure yet. I haven't thought that far ahead, but you know, obviously to try and win the championship, I need more than to just simply win the race. So yeah, we'll see what that entails.
Or does that mean then sitting back watching the two in front of you, get your popcorn out and let them tussle?
It could do. We'll see. We'll see how it gets played.
And are you okay with if it gets to the point where the team needs your help for Lando to take that role?
I mean, we'll still discuss it. I've not had any direct discussion at that yet, but you know, until either Max or Lando cross the line ahead of me, then I'm still in the running. So we'll see what that looks like tomorrow.
We don't enjoy asking you that for sure, but I guess it's a bigger picture, longer term, isn't it, that everyone has to consider in the end?
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's obviously not the easiest decision for anybody, but again, we'll discuss it before the race.
Wish you all the best tomorrow. Thanks.
Thank you.
And I wonder what the outcome of that discussion will be. Bernie, do you think that the only team order they'll say for the start is make sure you 100% don't crash into each other?
Yeah, you know, they've had that, I think, as part of their papaya rules for the entire season. You cannot crash into your teammate. You shouldn't crash into your teammate at any point, but you definitely shouldn't crash into them at turn one. They're very often, as Andrea Stella said earlier, together on the grid. So that's P1. You know, they need to be clean and play it fair. I don't think either of them, you know, obviously intentionally wouldn't do that, but they both need to finish. For all three drivers, this is a must-finish race. They can't afford to not finish. So they have to be clean going through that corner. And then I think from then on, there's questions to be had. But my big worry from Oscar Piastri's side is, you know, let's say he somehow is ahead of Lando Norris. Does he let Lando Norris through? Well, what happens if later on in the race or post-race Verstappen gets disqualified and Piastri could have won the championship had he not let Lando Norris through? There's many things to consider. So I'm sure that conversation will form a big bit of the race briefing at some point.
Yeah, well, what do you expect might get said then? You know, there's so many scenarios, it's impossible to predict them all, but I just wonder how much management there will be from McLaren tomorrow.
You cannot plan for everything, but it needs to be clear to both drivers that it is in the interest of the entire team to win the World Championship for the drivers. And so if it comes to it, one driver will need to support the other driver. I mean, that's the way the discussion is going to go. Perhaps they'll go through a couple of scenarios as well. Unfortunately, the most obvious one is going to be against Oscar. Oscar being second, Lando fourth. Then Oscar has to drop back and let him pass so Lando can be third, for example. They will cover something like that. But then the rest, they just need to trust their drivers.
Okay, very quickly. Well, I'd like to know from you, what's going to be going on behind closed doors tonight? How late will they get into? Will they be working, and what will they be going through very quickly?
Well, they'll be doing the debrief now immediately from qualifying, and then they'll be looking at what's their race plan ahead. The big questions remain the same. Is it a one-stop? Is it a two-stop? What's the start tire? All of these questions are the same as every other week. And then at the very end of all of that, they'll get into these driver championship things. But all of the team, the engineering team, worked very, very late on a Saturday night, and the drivers will go home with a bit of a think about it.
But on the Red Bull side, there is a different dynamic that they now need to go deep diving into,
yes,
which is how do we do that backing up race? What will happen there? How will the strategy play out? How are we going to win that race by doing that? And that is a new scenario that they're going to have to be studying in depth right now, and I'm sure they're going to put all their effort into that.
And what will the drivers be going through tonight? Did you get any sleep before 2016?
2 hours.
You got 2 hours to sleep, and you lived on your adrenaline, lived on your wits.
2 hours, this is awesome.
Well, he did say, didn't he,
that
Lando?
was it, yeah. So I was not in a very good place.